What's going on, guys? Coming at you with another update on our strategy and our programming progress so far, and also maybe a little garden update. In the last video, we had gone pretty far. We had our limits being set, and we also had our trailing stop, but the rounding of our P&L was a little off, so some of those weren't being set at the right spot, and also the scaling of them was not yet implemented. So our limits weren't really that safe. Wasn't scaling in accordance to how many limits were hit. More limit orders, we kind of want a smaller gap for our profit, just to make sure it gets hit. The other thing that we were trying to get, or I was talking about a quality of life feature, was just being able to adjust the properties, like the thresholds we wanted, as well as maybe pick the account. Yeah, I'm gonna give you guys an update as to where we got the past few days, and yeah, see where we're at. So I will go ahead and bring the code up real quick. Not that that's what we're here for, right? We're here to see this strategy, but so I'm going to talk about where we got. So we actually did implement pretty much all of those things we were looking to implement. So you can see here I actually have those thresholds, and I actually implemented a max contracts property as well, with the idea that in the future we're going to use the max property or the max contracts number to actually automatically scale the number of orders, and that would be hopefully using that in some sort of calculation to ensure that the lower trades cover anything above it. That's the goal. The other part that I just wanted to quickly show was we do have our scaling. So it's just hidden in here a little bit, but if you see, we have the current target profit P&L, right? So that's our stop order, and this scales limit orders that have been hit so far, right? And it's going to be 2 to the number of limit orders. So initially it's 2 to the 0 because 0 limit orders have been hit. So 2 to the 0 is 1. So it's going to be our original target divided by 1. So it's just our original target. The next one will be 2 to the first. So it's 2, So basically our target profit gets halved every time a limit is hit. And similarly, our limits actually are scaling now too when we create them, but we also do have the threshold being passed in. That is our P&L base threshold, so that's the name is off probably. This is just supposed to be where our limit orders are, but that does get multiplied by the loop count now. And so our threshold basically starts at whatever the value was, so by default it's 10, so the loop count is 1. So the first one is 10 P&L points away. The next one is going to be 10 times 2 because the loop count is the second count. But that would be points away from that second entry point. If our first one does get hit, we do all the calculations there to figure out the new entry price, the number of orders, and we pass that in, and we continue to process that until we hit our max number of orders. So that is all implemented now, as well as this part right here. Just one little line real quick. It's just setting the account that we were using to whatever account gets picked in the strategy box. So if I pull this up real quick and I show you guys the strategy, I'm not connected to anything right now, but this manual trade manager here, the ability to pick the account from this drop down is what we added. So now I can actually go and pick my eval account and run the strategy on it. So yeah, that is where we're at right now with the code. We actually did get to do a bit of testing on an eval account. Let me see if I can bring that up real quick. So, I'll pop it over here. But on yesterday's stream, we did get started on our eval account. As you can see, adding right here, I enter. Let me just mute this real quick. And my camera is covering it up. But so this is the stream from yesterday, right? I'm watching it. And you can see we actually are on our eval account. Right now I picked the account, made sure it worked, and entered the position. And you can see up top we actually have our real-time P&L being tracked, right? So that was pretty cool. I'm going to go ahead and speed this up a bit. I'm going to speed it up a lot a bit so we can see it actually working. And I'll go ahead and talk about it while it's playing here, just to kind of let you guys know where we're at, what else we need to do. So we did get all of those features I talked about earlier implemented. We have it on a live account now, like an eval account, not an actual live trading account, but we actually have it on the live market with our eval account. And seemingly it's pretty successful. We did still run into a couple bugs, and there's a couple things I do want to still implement just as like this base strategy to consider it complete, but for the most part it's working. So the main bug that I saw, and this is like probably the only one I saw so far now at this point, like most of the other ones are taken care of. I just haven't run into any new ones besides this one that I'm about to tell you. But it happens when our trailing stop gets hit. So there's a chance where our trailing stop gets hit and it tries to adjust the order and the order just gets lost. And I'm not entirely sure what's happening when that happens, but here, if I fast forward a bit, I can show you right around here. We're going to go back to normal playback. So this is, again, on our eval account. You can see we actually, our P&L up top is pretty good. Realized P&L is $113.88 so far. But yeah, okay, so right here is where the bug happens. So this one, our stop, it sits right on that line, and it like hits the stop real quick a bunch of times. And I think what happens is, even though the stop got hit and there were still shares or contracts available, it might have considered that stop order fully completed or filled. And because of that, if I submit any changes to that, it no longer works. I'm not entirely sure. This is a part that definitely requires some debugging, but that is the main issue with that. So yeah, besides that, guys, some of the goals left to make this really our like final base strategy product would be drawing the intended stop trade like before it's even shown, so we can see where the points are, so we understand and can see it in real time where it's like bumping that around before it ever gets hit. And I also would like to draw maybe like the P&L and the account name on the actual chart, so I don't have to have the other windows up on top of that. But yeah, that's pretty much what's left for this. I have been tracking this. I mean, you guys maybe just saw on here, on the stream section that I was sharing. I've been tracking my trading journal, or my strategy and the development of it in my trading journal on wsoproptrading.com. This is a website I've been working on with some friends to create like an environment for traders to talk. Yeah, so I called my strategy the Hydra, and I've been keeping track of it here. That's the basic strategy development, but the real posts that I've been making are in my trading journal. And this is to, track my daily trades. Here you can see there's a bunch of other posts from multiple other users. If I actually go here, I can see my posts in a whole list here for myself. You can see like most of them are my trading journal posts. Look at all these trading journal posts. So yeah, we get like, our trades being tracked daily, posts that are recommended based off of, number of likes, number of views, which ones are getting the most views in a recent time frame in our popular posts, and any announcements and stuff like that. If you guys think that would be helpful for you in your trading journey, feel free to stop by and join us. So for any of those who are still around, yeah, here's a little update on my garden. Got some random gourds that have been growing. These things, they're pretty cool. Some of them are just about ready. Some of them are still pretty small. Here's some more. And you might be seeing some of these leaves and being like, oh, those leaves, they look weird. It actually has a ton of fungus on it, and it's not good for the plant. That fungus actually, it doesn't stop the plant from growing. It stops the plant from getting enough sunlight to keep growing. So like, it's already established, and those plants are pretty good, but they're gonna have a hard time continuing to grow with more new growth. But here, I just added a few to this bin. Here's my collection bin today. Pretty cool. So I got all these. I'm gonna wash them off. Also got a couple cucumbers, which are massive, like next to my head, they're massive. And some shishito peppers. I just dropped one, but it's good, I got it. There are still some pretty huge cucumbers just popping up off of it. I'm actually gonna grab this one right now. See if I can cut it and grab it at the same time. Cutting, grabbing with the fingers. See that? So I got another cucumber. You guys saw me just cut a cucumber. a couple cucumbers. Actually, if I scoot in here, you can see there's also a couple peppers. I'm actually probably gonna cut this one right here. Trying to get it, giving you guys the upward angle of me. Got it. All right, so look at that, that's pretty cool. So in terms of the food we got for today's harvest, there's a cucumber, peppers, and I don't actually know if I can eat these yet. I had to look into that. They might just be decorative. I didn't actually plant them. They just grew in my yard because I compost like all of my plants and stuff. So they got composted and then just some of the seeds sprouted up. One last little update. Here's one more little pumpkin. It might grow, it might not, we'll see. But yeah, thanks for sticking around for my garden update, guys.